Don't be shy, 'cause life won't bring you down too far.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're at a press conference for this weekend's fights on BT Sport with Frampton, Michael Conlan. Boxing's back, Frank.
Well, it's been back for a while now, hasn't it? We've had 3 shows and this is our 4th show. So looking forward to it. We're stepping up. Obviously the first 3 were quite competitive shows, and getting the youngsters back in and getting Joyce getting some rust out of his system. And they were decent fights and very competitive. Now we're moving up another gear, and we've got Frampton, who was supposed to challenge for his 3rd world title at a different weight, and hopefully would have won that, to be the first Irishman to do that. Unfortunately, it got postponed, so he's having a fight, and he got a last minute opponent in Darren Trainer, who actually was in training. So he's got that, and he's got coming through that fight look good, and hope he set the fight up for Hearn in late autumn.
Just talk about Frampton, obviously just talking to him there, it has been a bit of a nightmare situation for him, but opponent has been named today and he's fighting, which is the main thing, and we know that comes through this, the Hearn fight will be there at some point this year.
That's the situation. That's what we want to happen. I mean, it's, this COVID thing's thrown everything up in the air for everybody, so we are where we are. But fact of the matter is, Carl can't afford to slip up here. He's got, Darren Trainer's got everything to gain here and nothing to lose. And apparently he's up for it, so we will see. But the objective is for Carl to get his shot against Hearn, as I said, in late autumn.
Michael Conlan also on the bill, him and Frampton sharing a bill which will delight the Irish fans.
It certainly will. I mean, the guy he's fighting, Sofiane Taku, we know was over here last time he was over here, he fought Josh Warrington, who's obviously a class world champion. This is a step up for him. Michael's only had 13 fights. This guy's had 40 fights and won 35 of them. So I think he's going to give Michael a few things to think about. But Michael's a man on a mission, and hopefully he'll come through it.
And some of the best talent in the country on show this Saturday as well, the likes of Archie Sharp and Troy Williamson, Dennis McCann. The boys are the future, basically.
They are. Archie's got a lot to... he's in with a guy in this Jeff Ofori. He's got to come through that well. And if he can... You never know. He comes through okay, wins the fight. He could be in a position where he may wind up being a mandatory to the winner of Frampton and Hearn. So he's got a lot to go for. Troy Williamson done a fantastic knockout the last time he fought, and it's, and I was hoping that he could, if it weren't for this COVID, I think we'd have stepped him up again. But he's out. He's got a good fight on, and young Dennis McCann, who I think's one of the best young fighters that we're involved with. He's out having his 7th fight, so he's looking to be busy. He had the flu, so now he's out, and hopefully we're going to see some good fights on Saturday.
Joyce dismantled his opponent recently. Daniel Dubois has a tough test in a couple of weeks' time. What is the latest regarding that fight for October, Frank? Is everything, all systems go? Should Daniel come through that fight at the end of this month?
If Daniel comes through it, it's scheduled for the 24th, and fingers crossed we can get it on. But we don't know where we are regarding crowds. We keep being told something's going to be announced, but it hasn't yet. It's virtually sold out ticket-wise. We had hardly any tickets back, and when we sort of rescheduled it, we actually sold some more tickets. So everybody wants to see it happen, and we want to make it happen.
But it is unclear, and it's a government issue as opposed to like a boxing issue.
It's a world issue. It's for everybody. I mean, who knows what's going to bloody happen from one gate to the other? I mean, we could have been, for example, we'd have been doing this show in Manchester last week. We wouldn't have been able to run it, would it? It's been locked down. They locked Leicester down. Who knows what's going to happen? Nobody knows with this terrible situation. What's happening from day to day.
Just coming back to Daniel Dubois, a lot of people are raising a few eyebrows about his opponent, asking why is he going in with someone like Pfeiffer, who's obviously his amateur record, beating Tony Elka twice, etc., with a fight with Joyce in the pipeline.
Well, because that's the fight we've made. That's what he's doing. So he's in with him. It's a tough fight. But, I believe in Daniel. I believe he's the best young heavyweight, as a lot of people do out there. And hopefully he'll come for it, and then him and Joe can get it. Or maybe we may even, who knows, we may even be able to convince Dillian-Whyte to fight him.
I was going to say stranger things have happened, but...
Stranger things.
I do want to touch on last week. I think you pretty much broke the boxing internet last week, Frank, with, for a couple of reasons. First of all, obviously the proposed fights you put out between yourself and Matcham, and then after that your conversation with Mr. Hearn.
Yeah, we been thinking about it and put them out there, and thought, between us, this is some of the talent that we've got in both companies, and let's get them together. Let's see if we can do something. So we're in a position where hopefully we're having a meeting soon.
Was it weird speaking to him on the phone?
No, he called me, and I left a message for him, and he called me back. And I said, let's get together, and that was it.
Put out odds about where this dinner or lunch could take place.
Who gives a toss where it takes place? Let's just make it take place in this room, in your house. I don't care where it takes place. In a restaurant, it's not about where it takes place, it's making it take place.
But are you confident, after having a sit down with him, that it could be some fights worked out there?
Well, I'm confident that we want those fights to happen. That's why we put it out there. Whether he's got the confidence from his end in some of his guys, or we can make them, I don't know. We'll find out when we meet. That's going to be the acid test.
Just moving on to Wilder and Fury 3, what is the latest on that, Frank?
Well, the latest is that, that Tyson, I spoke to him this morning, it's got to take place by the end of this year. Not next year, the end of this year. And he's not prepared to wait. That's when he wants to fight, and that's what we've got to deliver for him. That's what we've got to make happen by hook or by crook.
Is this hinging on the crowd situation regarding where it takes place as well?
If it's going to continue how it continues, then, it is what it is, and we've got to look at other scenarios. He will fight this year. The
WBC have also reconfirmed that Dillian-Whyte will face the winner of Tyson and Wilder.
They would like him to face the winner. So if Tyson comes through, it's not going to be anybody's choice except Tyson's, because he's the guy who matters. He's the number one heavyweight on this planet, and I think neutrals all agree to that. Certainly, Ring Magazine would make him that. I do. So at the end of the day, that'd be his choice. And let's sort of cut to the chase. AJ wants to fight against, and obviously he's got Pulev, but AJ wants to fight. Tyson wants it. Let's get it on. You asked anybody in this room, and you hold a poll, do a poll on IFL. Who would you much rather see? Tyson Fury in the ring with Anthony Joshua, or Tyson Fury in the ring with Dillian-Whyte?
Well, all right. I'm assuming the majority would pick. The majority would pick. There are people out there that, I'm just saying, I can't speak for everyone, but I would say the majority would pick the Fury AJ fight.
Yeah, by what sort of majority do you think? But that's what they want. And in the meantime, while it's happening, one of the fights we put out and proposed was, whilst that's happening, let's make the Daniel Dubois fight with Dillian, and let the winner of that fight the winner of Tyson and AJ. It's great fights for the fans. Would you like to see Daniel Dubois in with Dillian-Whyte?
Yes, I would, but I'd also like to see Tyson Fury in with Dillian-Whyte as well.
Yeah, but would you like to see Tyson? Right, let's talk about fights that you would like. What's the best fight to see?
AJ Fury.
Right, so that's going to happen. That means the other one can't happen, doesn't it? Right, so what's the next best fight you want to see? The one I just told you. Stop, because your ass is getting sore sitting on that fence. Come on, let's get out.
I'm a notorious fence sitter, and I'm proud of it, Frank.
Yeah, I know you are, mate. But you're with me now. You're not ironing somebody's pyjamas in the bubble. You're with me. So what I was going to say to you is, you want that one, and then the next ones we want to see our man, Joyce, in with Derek Chisora. They're great fights. How can no one want to see those fights?
Yeah, I would agree. I'd like to see that fight as well.
Good. So that's it. So we agree on something.
We've agreed on a lot of things over the years, Frank. All right, well, listen, first of all, a huge night on BT Sport this Saturday.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. That's what it's all about. Their fights actually are made and they're happening. So, we get them done. And then we got Daniel out, as you mentioned earlier, at the end of the month. And then we're announcing, I hope we can announce them hope by the end of the week, our December and October shows, which we're ramping up again. So we can get Anthony Yard out there and a few of the other guys.
Just a quick word, any thoughts on Mike Tyson and Roy Jones in this exhibition?
That's what it is, isn't it? It's an exhibition. If it's an exhibition, it's up to them. They're well over the age of 21 to make their decisions, what they want to do with their lives. As a fight, I wouldn't, it's something that shouldn't be happening. It's not a great advert for boxing, is it? I like Roy. Got a lot of time for him. I hope he kicks the shit out of him.
Interesting to see how many pay-per-view buys it does. Frank Warren,
Listen, car crashes do business, don't they? People stop and rubberneck and break their necks looking at car crashes.
Fair point. Frank Warren, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. I said everyone tune into BT Sport this Saturday night. And yeah.
You're back in the bubble?
I'm in a couple of bubbles this week.
No, you're back in the bubble next week?
I'm in the bubble.
How many sugars in the coffee when you take it out the room? How many do you have to put in there when you take the breakfast?
None, Frank. I'm stuck in the room, I am. Thank you very much.
Very good.